What's up guys, it's Jen, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new Colourpop 2019 spring collection. And I get so many requests for a review and tutorial on this collection during my Sunday haul that it's the first video I'm doing this week because you guys really wanted to see this and I don't blame you. It's absolutely a gorgeous collection. I couldn't resist it as soon as I saw it on the Colourpop website. I knew I had to grab it. I do collect most of Colourpop's palettes, but this one in particular spoke to me just because of how stunning it is. So first let's talk about just packaging really quickly. This one just has a really sort of feminine spring-like vibe, flowers all over it, but it's also kind of edgy in a way too. They have this picture of the girl here with kind of like her eyes scratched out, and then on the back they have her eyes over there. So it's kind of like weird, funky, like edgy packaging. And then inside we have all the shades, and I'm not crazy about this hollow background, and I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older and my eyes aren't what they used to be, but I just feel like when I look at this, it's hard for me to see the colors. The background is just too distracting. So not too big of a fan of that, even though it does look really, really pretty visually. So this palette is $18. You're getting 12 shades, and for the first time, Colourpop's actually including 4 textures in here. So you don't just have the regular pressed matte and shimmer shades, you also have 2 pressed glitters here and here, and one of their Super Shock shadows, which are normally in little pots like this. So I'm kind of wondering how that one is gonna hold up because they do dry out definitely if you keep them open. And this palette does have an incredibly strong magnet, so hopefully it won't dry out too soon. But I feel like I tend to leave palettes open a little bit longer as I'm working with them than I would with the Super Shocks. Usually when I use those, I just open this quick, use it, and then close it back up. So this might dry out a little faster than your typical Super Shock shadow, but we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead now and just do some swatches and show you each different shade. So first up we have the shade Catch Me, which is a really pretty matte pastel peach. And next we have the shade Side to Side, which is that Super Shock shadow, and that's a warm champagne with silver and pink glitter. Next we have Garden Date, which is a metallic coral with a gold sheen. That one's a regular pressed shimmer shade. Then we have Work It, which is a soft matte yellow orange. That one is really pretty as well. Then next is one of the glitters. This one's called Prima Drama, and it's a pale rose gold glitter with a copper and gold duochrome shift. Then Meadow is a matte true coral shade. It's a really beautiful transition. Next we have Early Morning, which is another glitter shade, and this one is a marigold. And then we have Dream Maker, which is a really soft matte coral. Next we have ICYMI, which is a matte dirty terracotta shade. And then we have Melody, which is a metallic rose with a gold flip. West Side is a matte camel shade, another really great transition color. And then Feel Free is the deepest shade in the palette and really one of the only deep shades. This one is a rich matte Bordeaux. So overall, I really, really love the theme of this palette, and Pantone's color of the year is Living Coral, so it really ties in beautifully with that. But I will say that I do have 2 criticisms of this palette, and one is the glitters. I'm not a fan of glitter shades, one, because I just don't normally use them. I normally wear more toned down looks, and I'm not like a glitter person overall. And also I wear contact lenses, so glitters can sometimes be tough because if there's any kind of fallout and they get in my eyes, they can really cause issues. So I'm really not too big on glitters, and I really wish that they would have just maybe added some additional pressed shimmers in here. And then one other thing I want to mention about this palette is that it contains a lot of really light to mid-tone shades. There's not a lot of deeper ones in here. So if you're like me and you like to use the deep shade on the outer corner to kind of lift your eye a little bit, this one is really the only one that I can do that with. I did use this one in a look, which you'll see, and it really didn't make as much of an impact as using this one. And then the last thing is that this palette, while it's absolutely beautiful and spring-like, there's not a whole lot of variety of color in here. Really, when you do looks with this palette, you're either gonna get something that looks kind of peachy or kind of coral, which are very similar to each other. So there's not a whole lot of color variety. You're not gonna get a ton of different looks out of this. So I think you really have to feel like you want a peach or coral look when you want to use this palette, because that's pretty much all you're going to get with it based on the colors that are in here. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you 2 different looks that I did with this palette, and this first one is more of a peachy look. So I started out with the matte shade Work It, and I applied this one in my crease. This one is the soft matte yellow orange shade, and I really, really like this as a transition. I thought it was really beautiful. And then next I applied the shade Melody to my lids. This one is that metallic rose with a gold flip, and in the pan it looks like a golden peach color, but on the lids, it actually applies a little more pinky peach. So it was definitely a surprise. It looks a lot different on the eyes than it does in the pan. And then I applied the shade West Side, which is that matte camel color. It's a mid-tone color. I usually go for a deeper shade in my outer corner, but in this case, it worked okay. I just wanted to do more of a softer look anyway, so I think it worked out really beautifully for that. And then I also took this shade down underneath my eyes as well, and I think it just tied everything together really nicely. So the finished look was just a really soft, peachy coral kind of look. It's so pretty, but I also really wanted to show you one of the glitters, so I went back in with the shade Early Morning, which is that marigold yellow glitter, and I packed that on with my finger, and I have to say, for a pressed glitter, it didn't have a lot of fallout, and it was really, really easy to apply. I think it went on really pigmented. It wasn't one of those glitters that's a little more sheer. It really packs a punch. So I thought that was really beautiful as well, and even though I'm not normally a fan of wearing glitter on my eyes, I did think it came out really pretty. But if you're someone that likes glitter, I think you're really gonna love the formula of these because it was really easy to work with. I didn't even have to put down a tacky base beforehand. It just worked out fine on its own. And also for this look, I wanted to use one of the new Super Shock cheek blushes, so I grabbed the shade Get Laid, and this one is a really bright peachy coral in the pan, but on the cheeks it sheers out beautifully. It went so nicely with this look. And I get asked all the time how I apply these, and I just apply them with my fingers. I just dab them on and then blend really quickly using short strokes, and I find that to be the easiest for me. You can apply these with a brush. I've seen people do it, but for me, I just feel like I get a better result with my fingers, so that's how I do it. So here's the finished look, and on my lips I'm wearing one of the Persona lip glosses in the shade Peach, which I love. I think it ties this whole look together so beautifully. It looks so super pretty. So now I'm going to show you the look that I'm wearing today. So first I started out with the shade Meadow, and this one is that matte true coral shade. It's beautiful as a transition. I absolutely love this color so much. And then on my lid I used the shade Garden Date, which is that metallic coral with a gold sheen, and it pairs beautifully with that transition color. It's a little brighter on the lids than I thought it was going to be in the pan, but I still think it came out really, really nice. And then in my outer corner, I applied the deepest shade in the palette, Feel Free, which is a rich matte Bordeaux wine color. And I think it applied beautifully. It didn't go patchy on me at all, which I really like. I didn't have any issues with blending or anything like that. And then I also really wanted to try the Super Shock shadow, so that one is called Side to Side. So I just picked that one up with my finger and dabbed it right in the center of my lid. And in the pan, that one looks like a pink glittery shade, but on the lid, you don't really see a lot of the pink coming through. You just see mainly glitter. It's very sheer, so you can see the color underneath it a little bit. It just adds, I would say, some dimension and some sparkle and shine, and it really helps to give your eyes more of a wet look, which I really liked because often I'm going in with a setting spray and spritzing my brush to try to get that wet metallic look, and with the Super Shock shade, you can just dab that right on and get more of that impact. So I really, really like that. Actually, I think I prefer those definitely to the pressed glitters. And then for my cheeks, I used another one of the Super Shock blushes, and this one is a really bright pinky coral. It's called No Vacancy, and this one I definitely had to sheer out a little bit. It was a little dark for my skin tone at first, and I was kind of like, whoa, and I had to go in and just blend it really, really fast. But luckily, these are very easy to sheer out, so it wasn't a big deal. And then here's the finished look. On my lips, I'm wearing the Ariel lipstick from Colourpop's Disney collection, which is one of my favorite lipsticks of all time. It's the most beautiful color. Okay, so now I just want to show you some swatches of the Super Shock cheeks since I do have 4 of them. So first we'll start out again with No Vacancy, which is the one I just used. And next up we have Count Me In. This one is a really light, soft pink. I think that would be beautiful on fair skin tones. Next up we have Growth Flirt. And this one is more of a mid-tone pink shade. And then last but not least, we have Get Laid, which is that really beautiful, bright, peachy color. Okay, so my final thoughts on this collection are that I like it, but I don't completely love it, and that's mostly due to the palette. I really enjoy the Super Shock cheek blushes. I think they're amazing, and these colors are really beautiful for spring and summer, but I think with the palette, while it visually looks beautiful, and when I first saw the colors, I thought I was gonna just absolutely go crazy for it, at the end of the day, I feel like the looks that you can get out of it are very limited. There's a few shades in here that look almost exactly the same on the eyes, like these two right right here, even though this one's like a lighter version of this one, they're super close. So when it comes to transition colors, I feel like we're already missing one just because no matter which one of these I use, the look kind of comes out the same. And also there are only 2 pressed shimmer shades as well, and I use both of them in my looks, so that's pretty much all you're gonna get as far as the shimmer shades go. I don't see myself using both of the glitters, and I do wish that these were just regular shimmer shades because I feel like I could get a lot of different looks out of the palette, but I feel very limited to pretty much what I showed you today, those 2 looks or some variation of those looks. So I really don't see this as a very versatile palette and not something that I'm gonna be reaching for all that often, but definitely when I'm in the mood for a peachy or a coral kind of eye look, I will definitely pick this up because the looks that I can get with it are really beautiful. Alright guys, so that does it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and also let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this collection. Did you buy it already, or are you thinking about it, or maybe did this review change your mind? I would love to hear your thoughts. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!